What's up, guys? I'm Ryan with Ryan Epps Fishing, back out on the water today. We back out here on Douglas chasing after these deep bass, and we found a few. Y'all stick around, sit back, buckle up. Hope you learned something today. Y'all enjoy the video. I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's a lot of shad activity right here ahead of us going down through here. Big and big. Oh, that is a giant. I mean a giant. Oh no. Woo. What a smallmouth. What a smallmouth. Whoo! Let me tell you something. He wanted him some Keitech. He saw that Keitech, he said, boy, I need that in my life right there. What a fish. Drag is too loose. That's a big one. That is a big one. Big one. Big one. I'm talking about. Oh, if this is a bass, it's a damn good one, boys. I'm telling you. Giant. Yes. Woo. Woo. That is a nice fish right there. That is a pretty Douglas Lake bass right there. You can't ask for no better than that. I like it. There's old Moby right there, boys. That was old Moby. Whew. Now we need old Moby's first and second cousin right here. Daddy, mama, brother, sister. Need them. I know there's some more down there. When I idled over this spot right here, I marked about 10 or 15 of them set up right there on that little break. Y'all might be asking yourself, what the hell is he doing fishing out the back of his boat? I'll set the stage for y'all here. We got the current coming this way, coming at us. We got a crosswind coming in this way. So, in an ideal world, that wind would be blowing with the current. It's not. But, that's all right. We just had to reposition here. And nose the boat into the current. Big one. think? Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one right there, boys. Yes. Haha. Not a bad fish. Old Carolina rig doing some work this morning. I like that right there now. Nice little fish. Not near as big as that last one, but hey, I'll take them right there all day long. All day long. You know, one thing that I hear people ask when we're talking about Carolina rigs, which is what I just caught that fish on right there. A lot of people say they're not sure what the bite feels like on a Carolina rig. And you know, the best way that I can describe it to me is when the fish are real aggressive. It feels a lot like a Texas rig bite to me. You know, you'll just get that tap tap right there. And you know, a lot of times smaller fish, more aggressive fish will do that. And to me, that feels a lot like a Texas rig bite. So it's pretty easy to tell those. Now, the other bite that you get on a Carolina rig is a lot of times you'll just be dragging it. And this is exactly how that fish hit it right there. You'll just be dragging that Carolina rig along there on the bottom. And as you go to drag, you'll just feel it. There'll be some weight on the end of it. It'll be, you know, it'll be a lot heavier. There'll be a lot more resistance to it. And what that fish has done is it's, you know, that fish is not very active. It's just that bait has come by. It's just inhaled it there in between your drags. And you'll just get that resistance, that pressure. And a lot of times they'll hold it because when they initially bite it like that, there is not a lot of resistance. So they'll hold it in their mouth usually for quite a while. And you can kind of pull up on it there. When you feel that, I always swing because a lot of times that's a fish. And I've noticed it more often than not, your bigger fish, that's how they'll eat it. So pretty much you're either looking for that tap tap or you're waiting to feel that pressure when you pull up. And you know, the best way I can describe it is a lot like if you was to hook a limb or something down there, you know, just that constant little bit of pressure when you go to drag. A lot of times that's a bite, and more often than not, those are your better fish or your more inactive fish that eat it like that. So don't be afraid to set the hook. You never know. Got him. Yeah. Horrendous network. There we go. All right, I'll take that. Not a big one, but there's us another one. Wanted a little drop shot action. I like that. I thought there might be one or two sitting here up on this break. There we go. I like it. What we got here is just a main channel point. Runs out here pretty deep. It's got a real good break right on the end of it. See if there's another one down there. they're getting smaller, which ain't good. I probably could have boat flipped that one. I don't like to do much boat flipping on 6-pound line, you know what I mean? Because you never really know. But there's a little feller on the drop shot. You pick up a drop shot, you're gonna get some of that. You take the good with the bad. You can put a few more keepers in the boat, but you're gonna catch some little fellers too. It's part of it. Pretty little fish though. Drop shot hook right there in the roof of the mouth, top of the mouth, right there where it's supposed to be. I like it when a plan comes together. Alright guys, let's talk about what worked today. Like I say, I've been out here 2 mornings this week, and I hadn't slayed them, but was able to put some fish in the boat. So I'll tell y'all how I did it. I'll say this, don't come out here right now expecting to catch you 100. I found a bite to be a little bit tough here the past couple weeks. I'm not sure why. We haven't had very much rain at all. So, you know, there's not a lot of water going through the dams right now. And when there's not a lot of water going through the dams, that means you don't have a lot of current. And anybody that fishes TVA lakes a lot knows that current is a big deal. It positions those fish, it gets those fish to feeding. It can make a big difference in how active those fish are. So, you know, we just kind of had to deal with what we had and adjust and try to put a few fish in the boat. And we were able to do that. And in fact, we put some really quality fish in the boat. I'm pretty happy about that. I wish we could have caught a bunch more, but you know, I'm not going to complain about the fish that we caught because they were quality fish. Let's talk about my primary choice right here. This is what I went to. Struggled to get those deep fish to hit a moving bait. I mean, really struggled. I lost 1 fish deep on a flutter spoon, but other than that, it was pretty much dragging baits around. And to do that, I went with the standard basic Carolina rig. Got the 1 ounce weight on it right there. Now that one's lead. I'm out of tungsten right now. I'm out of big tungsten. We used lead for a long time before they come out with tungsten. And, you know, you're going to lose some sensitivity, but it's going to save you a lot in your wallet. Now, don't get me wrong. If I've got big tungsten in the boat, that's what I'm going to put on here. But it doesn't bother me one bit to throw lead on there. That's a 1 ounce lead egg sinker. I like the egg sinker. It doesn't get hung up as bad in the rocks as your traditional bullet weight does. You know, I'm running about a 2.5 foot leader and just a standard VMC light wire worm hook. Now the bait that I put on here is pretty unique, and I was excited to finally get to use it a little bit. I bought some of these baits last winter, and when I saw them, I was just, my mind instantly went to a Carolina rig, and I thought that bait right there is going to be killer, slinging it out deep on a Carolina rig. And they have ate it, and it seemed to attract some bigger bites. Now, I've waited a long time to be able to say this. We caught them on the Rooster today. All right, that is the Strike King Rage Tail Smoking Rooster right there. And let me tell you, they wanted them some Rooster. They were inhaling this Rooster when they would eat it. This is a very unique bait. It's got the rage tails on it there, which give it a lot of action. You know, between the side flappers there and that tail, you get a ton of action out of this bait. And it's a beefier, bulkier profile down there. The color that I've got on here, and Strike King calls it green pumpkin purple gold. I'm a zoom guy, so I know it as watermelon candy. It's one of my favorite colors. I love that color in a zoom old monster worm, just pretty much anything. If I throw a plastic, I've got that color in the boat. I got turned on to that last year, put a lot of fish in the boat for me, and I've kept that color in my boat since then. So I love that color, deep, shallow, it don't matter. They're going to eat it. Once it got hot, later in the day, that sun come up, and I started having to play around and find something else to go to. Pretty much all my fish came out deep. We're talking 30, 35 foot. Now in the mornings, you're gonna see those fish. I'm finding some fish in 20, 25 foot. But once you get up a little bit later in the morning, you get some current, those fish are positioning out 30, 35 foot is where I found my fish. I started targeting main lake points, but the deal that I found was points that had very sharp breaks on them. And what I targeted that kind of stuff with was a drop shot. It's not my favorite way to catch them, but it puts fish in the boat, so I'm gonna throw it. Basic, standard drop shot. I think the deal with that is, you know, either they're on that break and you can drop this thing down onto that break and catch them that way, or I personally think, you know, when I idled over some of that stuff, I was seeing some fish suspended out there. They weren't inactive, but they were suspended. And waves are loud, messing up my exit here. I'm trying to tell y'all how to catch fish. Where were we? Okay, suspended fish. I think what helped me more than anything was those fish that were sitting off of that break, because like I say, this was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, very little current, and they were sitting off that break, and I could drag this drop shot down over it or drop it right on the break, and as it would go down, you know, it's dropping off from 15, 20 foot of water down to 40 foot of water, 50 foot of water off down into the main channel. And what this will do, a lot of times those fish will follow that bait down, and you're going to be able to pick off a few of them suspended fish that way. The hook that I'm throwing on here, my hook of choice for this is a VMC spin shot. Y'all can see it right there. It's got the swivels on it. It's a very nice, convenient, sharp hook. Very strong hook. I like the VMC hooks, and I'm a fan of this spin shot hook. If I'm going to throw a drop shot, that's what I'm going to throw. The worm that I've got on here is, and I'm about out of them, a 4.5 inch Roboworm, straight tail fat. This is a fantastic drop shot bait. I love these Roboworms. Whether you're Texas rigging them, Carolina rigging them, drop shotting them, shaky head, these worms right here get bit, I can promise you. And that color right there, y'all see me throw it quite a bit by now. That color, I'll get one out of the pack here, that color is prism shad. Very translucent color, some blue, purple, turquoise, fantastic color. It imitates a small bait fish very well, and it really shines on a drop shot or a shaky head. Like I said before in the video, the reason I'm not throwing a shaky head is that shaky head in places like that where you're talking about very large boulder rock, a lot of times that shaky head will get down there and it'll get down in the cracks of those rocks, and you know, the fish won't be able to see it. I like the drop shot because the weight can go down there in those rocks, and your bait is still up there in the strike zone, in the kill zone there. So, throwing that on my spinning setup. This is 6-pound fluorocarbon. You know, when I'm doing this stuff, I'm not that worried about losing fish. If I break one off, if I lose it, hey, it ain't no big deal. So I throw 6-pound tests. A lot of guys throw 8. If you'd rather throw 8, more power to you. It'll work. But I like 6-pound line. I was able to put some more fish in the boat doing that. The only other thing that I had, I'm still throwing a swim bait. A lot of them fish are moving up a little bit throughout the day. You know, I caught that very nice smallmouth on this, and it was just up there on a flat that was adjacent to a break off into deeper water. And you know, I'm sure that that was a deal where that smallmouth was sitting out on that break. We started getting a little bit of wind pushing in that direction. I think it just pushed a shad up there, and that smallmouth went up there and started eating on them. But y'all know the head, ledge head lures, swim bait head. My opinion, they're the best, can't be beat. The Swimbait, I like the Keitech style swim baits. This is not the exact swim bait. This is the one that I was throwing primarily in last week's video. This is the Strike King Rage Tail Swimmer. I was throwing the Keitech 4.3 inch today. This is what I caught the smallmouth on. And the color was Sexy Shad. I'm throwing it out there, I'm letting it sink, I'm slow rolling it. I'm still getting bit like that. That pattern seems to be going away just a little bit as those fish get deeper and deeper. And you know, like I say, it's been tough for me to get hit on moving baits. But when they're really active, like that smallmouth was, they'll destroy this swim bait, I'm telling you. And get you some of that Keitech Sexy Shad color. I promise you, you won't regret it. It catches fish. I mean, it just burns them up. That's all I had. That's what I got. So we got primarily Carolina rig, drop shot. Once the sun got up, it got hot out here. When I'd see active fish or see bait cruising around the surface or adjacent to bluff walls, anything like that, I'd pick up the swim bait. That was the deal. We're gonna keep getting out here, keep grinding on them, keep catching them, keep putting them in the boat, and letting y'all know what's going on to hopefully help you all put some fish in the boat too. That's all I got for y'all today, guys. If you like the videos, make sure you go hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. That's gonna let you all know when I put out all my new videos. If you got any questions or comments for me, go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below. I will get back to y'all with any answers that I can give you. Until next time, y'all make some time, get out there on the water and catch you a few. I'm Ryan Epps. Y'all have a good one.